Welcome back, devs. In the last video, we just created our main layout using the index of the AdminLTE. We adapted. I did just a few adjustments. As you can see, I erased all of the boards that were here that we are not gonna need. I just left these items on the menu just as an example that we are gonna change in a bit. So right now what we are gonna do is that we are gonna create the migrations on Laravel that we are gonna need for create the tables needed for the system. So let's go and check out our code. As you can see here in the database migrations, we already have two migrations created here by default. These ones are gonna be for our auth. Once we create it, the auth is gonna use these two migrations. Let's check it out. As you can see, it has default values, an ID, name, email verified at, password, remember token, the timestamps. We're gonna make a few changes here. We're gonna add here the how long can be this email, so 30 characters. And we are gonna add another field. We are gonna need, this is completely optional, but this is the way I like to do it, to add a username field. It can be, no, it cannot be null. So it seems to be ready because we cannot add foreign keys for another table before we create the other tables. So let's go to the prompt and let's create them. First, we're gonna need an items table, to save all of our items. I don't know, in our company. In my case, well, those are computers, tablets, servers, phones, and that kind of stuff. So let's go. We are gonna use the phpArtisan command, and we're gonna tell it to make a migration, and let's give it a name. So this is just because I like to put it create items. This is not gonna be the name of the table, just the name of the migration, so you can find it when you wanna look out for it. Table. This is just like the standards of creating a migration, and I'm gonna tell it to create my table items. Create, and there it is. As you can see, we have it here, our items table. So before we create the field for this table or for this migration, let's do the rest. Okay, so just push the up arrow in your keyboard and change the name. Next one, we are gonna create the employees table. So just change this, enter. There it is. We have our employees migration. It's gonna create our table, and once again, The next one will be profiles. This one is gonna be for the profile for each user of the system, so that we can give security. Create once again. There it is. So now we have our migrations so far. Let's go to the items migration. What do we need here? We're gonna need a name. So we need a string one. Now we need a serial number, which is also a string. And we also need a type, and it's going to be a string as well. Well, the serial number can be nullable. And we're gonna need a status, and it's gonna be a boolean. And we're gonna tell it default to be 0. Here we're gonna implement self-delete so that only it's a logic delete, not a physical delete. I guess we're gonna need it here too. I forgot to save it. Let's go to employees. What are we gonna need here? Table, string, because we need a name as well. For our employee, we are gonna need here also, I was forgetting, and for an ID. So this is gonna be an integer, and it's gonna be called item ID, because we're gonna assign an item to each employee, and it has to be unsigned, and it can be nullable, because at first you may not have an item to associate it with an employee. So let's let it nullable. I'm just gonna copy this one to make it faster. And we're gonna need a father last name and a mother last name. And we need the position of the employee. So this is gonna be also a string. I don't know why I write it instead of just paste it, but okay. Position. And we're gonna use self-delete here. And since we created a foreign key, we need to tell it where it's gonna point it. So just a comment key, and it's gonna be table foreign, and we're gonna tell it which one is a foreign and where it's gonna reference. It's gonna reference the ID on the table items. That'll be it. So now let's go to profiles. We're gonna need a name for it. Then we're gonna need some booleans to determine the level of access to the employee, no, to the user, yeah, to the user of the system. So we can have an administrator or just someone who just can't create or just can't edit but not delete or erase. Someone who just can see the information, that kind of stuff. So let's call this C table boolean, and this one is gonna be edit create, and last one boolean, and this is gonna be supervisor. And we are also gonna give access to delimitate, and exactly in which module of the system this profiles takes effect. So once again, soft deletes, and I guess that it. What else do we need? We are gonna need a model for each one of these tables. We already have the user model that it's created by default by Laravel. So we're gonna add here a new folder named models. Okay, let's create the models that we are gonna use for these migrations, these tables. Using our artisan command, once again, we tell it we want to make a model, and we tell it the path to create it in the folder we just made right now. So remember, it has to start with a capital letter and it has to be singular. That's pretty important because Laravel is going to identify it. If it is singular, and the name of the table, it has to be plural. So this is the way it's going to work. Now let's create the employee, and now the profile. Okay, let's check it out, and here we have it. As you can see, we don't have anything here. It just needs to be added. Let's add and tell it which table is going to be connected to this table, and employees. As we are gonna use self deletes, we are gonna add self deletes here. That since we are gonna use self deletes, we have to tell it where to find it. So it's gonna be illuminate database eloquent and self deletes. That way this will find it. And we're gonna add also the column for the deleted at. So protected dates and sorry, that wasn't meant to be there. Deleted at. And I guess that'll be for now. Let's just do the same here. Public table and the table items. We are gonna use here also self deletes as well. I'm just gonna copy the path. Okay, and the same here, protected. Dates. Deleted at. And last one, profile. Again, self deletes. Public table and profiles. Protected. No, first use self deletes and then protected. Deleted at. And that would be, we're gonna need to modify this one as well. But since I told you that we need to add some of the fields later, we're gonna create another migration specific for change or alter our user table. And let's go here and phpArtisan make migration let's tell it it's gonna be alter users table. In this case, since the table is already created, or in our migration it's gonna be first, we just need to tell it which table it's gonna be. So users and once it's created, let's go and see it. As you can see, it is pointing to our users table. We're gonna add some foreign keys, integer, profile ID. It's gonna be segment on site. Oh, the arrow. Sorry. And this one is gonna be also nullable at the beginning. Table, and we are gonna add the subleads. And let's tell it the foreign key. And its profile ID that references the ID on the profiles table. We also need to add here this drop column so that we can erase it. File ID. Okay, seems to be done now. Let's add the sub-deletes here. Let's just put it here. Use sub-deletes. Protected dates and deleted add. So I think we are right now good to go and run the migrations. But no, not really. Let's go to our .env file. As you can see, let's just close that. Here's our connection to our database. So we're gonna tell it which database is gonna connect it. Let's call it just inventory. And I'm gonna use the default user root in my phpMyAdmin with no password here. If you wanna put password, you have to configure it at your phpMyAdmin. So let's go to my phpMyAdmin and let's create the database. It's gonna be inventory. Just the name we gave it at our .m file. And I am gonna use the UTF Unicode F8 Spanish because it's my region. And let's create it. And it's right here, as you can see, but there is nothing here. So let's run the migrations with the command php artisan migrate. Let's hope everything is fine. It's taking a bit, but oh, we have an exception. And I think I know what it is. Let's go here to our database, migrations. As you remember, at first I changed this and added this number to specify how long it's gonna be the email string. We have another one here. that we have to do the same, and we are going to give it 30 as well. Let's go to our database. As you can see, it created a few of them, but we need to delete it before we try again. Yes. And now that it's empty, it should be working fine. Now let's run our migrations once again. Hopefully there won't be any other mistake. And we'll be good to go. Okay, seems fine so far. And there it is. We have our database with our tables created. I guess this will be enough for now, guys. We'll continue with the views for the next video, and also hopefully the controllers. And let's create the auth so that we can create users, edit them, and all that kind of fun stuff, you know. So let's see you next video, guys. Take care, devs. See you later.